So about a year or so ago, no, closer to 2, I was down in Boca and we went to the Flanagan's up there. Really great food. Of course, what do you expect? It's Flanagan's. And there were curly tails all over the place. Curly-tailed lizards. This guy is one of our domestics. But, notice, he curls his tail up like a curly tail, but sideways. He's domestic, you can tell, because he's smaller. Curly tails, if you were to stretch their tails out from tail tip to snout, are much bigger and longer than these domestic guys. And this guy, I don't know if he's just one of the local boys who's doing a weird thing, but he curls his tail around. Maybe he's tired of losing the fucker. He's a pretty healthy size. He's looking right at us. I figured I'd grab this on video before it disappears. So, wish he hadn't moved. His tail curls up a lot tighter than that. So, I put the camera down and the motherfucker does it. Now that's how tight a curly tail wraps their tails up. But he's doing it off to the side. Is he part of a new subspecies? Hard to tell. Never seen another lizard like him do that. Bobbing his head all up and down. You can see him on the window barely. Look at this asshole. He thinks he's all that top shit. Yeah, this is how boring my life is. I'm videotaping a lizard with a weird tail. How good the Jesus thing stopped. Ugh. Welcome back to the shop, everyone. A treat especial just for you today. Today, well, we got both cylinder heads off. But even more important, no valves. We're just taking this Jesus thing, that tiny little pancake. You can't even really see other than the gauges. Here, let me step out of the light. That Jesus thing. Trying to blow the crap off of them that they've accumulated over the years and weeks since they've been off. Like this crap. Safety squinches, engage. Hey, cleaned it right up. Contact. So today is tomorrow, and it is Sunday the 9th, and I figured I'd just show you what better part of 3 hours is worth of work. I've been slaving away on this thing just with the sanding grits over there for about 3 hours. It started about 1, and it's now almost 5, and I'm just about done with this one. This one's the real nasty one. Couldn't really see this lump right there. That guy. Here, hold on. Let me get a pointing stick. Somewhere around here. You'll do nicely. Yeah, this guy all around here. That motherfucker needs to go. That is a massive lump. I mean, just look how porous the casting is. Jesus Chrysler. Focus, you fuck. Hold on. See what I mean? Just look how porous this shit is. And I've been trying to clean up these lines and blend the lines up here better in the bulwark. And that little nub there hasn't been making anything easy. In fact, where's my flashlight? Because in order to see the runner work, I'm just doing the intake on the passenger side head. I mean, I haven't even really done much in a lot of senses. Can't really see it. Hold on. The air gun needs to be moved out of the way. Alright, it's a lot shinier as compared to. If I just flip this motherfucker open. For reference, how bad the other one was. And just look how greasy that is. All the way up. All of them are like that. And I've already gone through a half dozen of these sanding discs. I mean, just look at the victims. This motherfucker doesn't seem to want to focus. Fuck you too, camera. And you can see what I've been wearing them down to. Absolutely but fucking nothing. But the results are, without question, remarkable. You can see I've still got the exhaust ports to do on this head. I'm going to do the intake ports on this head, then move over to that head, and then start on the exhaust on this head again, because it's a good sequence to start off with. That way you at least get your port matching right, so that way one runner doesn't flow better than the other or worse than the others. So yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. I would also like to point out that what I'm doing here isn't major work. What I would call this is maybe a stage 0.5 kind of port dealio. It's not super major, but it will improve airflow. Admittedly, not by much, but a significant amount to warrant doing it. When you compare how rough these ports were originally, well, yeah, I go through the first half dozen of these rolls just because they're so coated in grease and crap. That and the box that they come in don't really sort them by grit size, which really pisses me off, Harbor Freight. Really pisses me off. Realistically, I should be starting on the exhaust port, because if nothing else, that'll improve flow by a significant margin. I mean, look at that. The thing just sits right in it. See? Well, this one fits a little poorly, but something else I want to know. Check this out. That is a chamber port going right through there. Why is that? I want to know. And I've seen these on the regular small block heads, so they clearly serve a purpose, but what? That's what I want to know. It's baffling me a bit. Regardless, yeah, exhaust ports are actually decent enough. They're a pretty clear shot to the bottom, so yeah, that's going to be fun to get around to doing that. So I figured I'd do it before and after, just to show you how nasty both these heads were before I even just kind of cleaned them up. That ain't grease. That ain't coming off. That's sort of caked on rust, sort of bad casting. They're real grimy. I mean, just scuzzy. I mean, hey, look. That's all rust-cue with oil. I mean, look at that. It's just absolutely atrocious. I mean, look how nasty that is. Compared it to the sorta ported heads. Much cleaner. Legitimately clean. And slightly better flowing. So yeah, got to finish up this side, which is going to take me another 3-4 hours. That's going to be fun. Until then, kids, see you then in the next clip. So, this is after a mild clean with the wire brush. Oh, fuck, this thing doesn't want to focus again. So this is a mild clean after the wire brush. I haven't even dusted this thing off. And look at the difference, just getting the caked on crap off. Now I don't recommend doing this because, well, stuff like this. Now this may not look like much, but taking comparison, that's a smooth spot that's now been created all over the head because of this. I strongly recommend against this if you're going to do it yourself. Again, all I'm doing is a mild port job. But this little clean up will help get the crap off and get it ready to go again, and mildly improve performance over how long these things have been sitting. I really should have hot tanked these things, but I don't have that kind of money to blow, so here we are. So I figured I'd show you this. Check this out. This right here on the other head. Look at the difference. Now this head has been like this. I didn't clean this area all that much. That tab was gone. Here, check this out. If I can get a good shot. Don't have my tripod on, but alright, just look at this. Greasy. Hey, watch this. Crusty garbage. This, ladies and gentlemen, is real grease. This is the kind of stuff your mama warned you about. Hey, that is caked on powder is what that is. Damn. Jesus. It works! It works! It works well! That's just like 5 minutes of polishing. I should have started with this motherfucker from the beginning. Fuck that drill. It's great for long distances, but fuck that drill. You're bae. And here I thought your lack of torque was a downside. You've proved me wrong, drill. You done good, pig. You done good. Let's get back to porting. So, here it is, almost 6 something. And, well, they're not professional, but for a home gamer, spending a couple hours working on a set of iron heads shouldn't do too bad. Without a doubt, they could be a lot better. I still got to do the exhaust port. That's the one that's going to bite me. That one I think I'm going to leave kind of rough. Or I go straight back to 320 and then polish. As long as I do something to it. Though that hole is rather annoying. That one right there. Because that makes getting into the bowls, or the back of the non-existent bowl, I should say, on that particular exhaust valve, and sort of on this one too. One next to it. Well, actually, that... Wow! See that giant mass monstrosity right there? That's casting flash. Wow, Chrysler did not give a fuck. Still got to hit up the heads with the 320. I've done both heads with with both the 180 and 280. I'm working on the 320 right now. But yeah, you can see that polishing up rather nicely. Still could have a lot more done to them, and at some point I'll probably revisit them and redo it properly. Technically, I've done this step backwards because I really should be cleaning up the exhaust valve. But that's a hell of a lot of carbon buildup I don't want to deal with right just yet. So for the time being, I'm just going to kind of ignore it until I get around to it. Soon enough, folks soon enough. So here it is, 7:30ish. Just started work on the passenger side heads. And I just started this port, started being keyword. The other side is sort of done. Here, let me grab that. It's gotten a lot nicer. Though there's still some casting flash going on the corners that's just such a pain in the ass to get through. And chances are I'd probably eat through these all. And I probably will, just to make sure these are nice and smooth, these exhaust ports, because that's where I'm going to see the most power gains. I've made the intake ports really nice, all things said, and could be a lot better though, because still some flash showing up here and there, and definitely a lot of pot marks from the cast. I mean, that's raw cast. And that's polished. Also, noted the P on the upper section on both heads. So perhaps this was a Pennsylvania built truck, or probably referencing a specific building code, something like that. So, gonna have to look into that. But yeah, I'll definitely be working on this all week. Just getting the exhaust ports done, because I want to get those prettied up as much as possible. And I'm going to turn this on and leave it on. Alright. Jeez, look how dark my hands are. I guess this is why they call them black fingers in the Mad Max game. Yeah. Getting that car running soon enough. Till next time, kids. So today is tomorrow, and I've got a rather sticky wicket. This one, and this head too, these studs don't want to come out the normal way. Normal way you do it with these studs, take two of the nuts, screw them on, and tighten them onto each other. So you got one tightening or loosening off going this way clockwise up towards me, and one going and then wait, hold on, brain.exe stopped working. Right, so you have one coming up from the bottom that goes counterclockwise, and then you have one on the top that you tighten down onto it going clockwise, and when these two meet, the frictional forces stop together and make enough of a clamp, in theory, to use the bottom one, which is now clamped onto the top one, to spin this free. That's how I did it for the other 6 bolts over there on that head and on this head. However, both these bolts on the same port for both head castings do not want to come out. Now, I have a theory about that. One, this is not a blind hole, and that leads straight into the water jacket, which is right there. And that wrench can't be lost. Theory number 2. The heat coming off of this one port in particular, which this theory doesn't really hold up too well, combined with the proximity to a water jacket and the fact that it's potentially a blind hole, leads me to believe that it is welded to the head. Now, I've ground down this particular one to try and get that on. Well, here, watch. Give me one sec. It's a bit of a sticky wicket. Clamp her down. Hurt. Come on, you bitch. as you can see, it just slips right off the vise. This motherfucker is on there hard, and I mean hard. And it don't want to come off. That's infuriating. Same with that one. So, what do we do when we have a stubborn bolt head? We continue to beat on it. But how shall we proceed to beat on it? I got something over there. And I'm sure what my grandfather might have said, if you can't beat 'em, heat 'em. And baby, we got a Chicago electric welder sitting ready to go. So, here's my ingenious, dubious, and dubious plan. Insert random bar. Weld said random bar, which is mostly metal, that is not copper, to bolt stud, and torque on said son of a bitch till it pops loose, or until I break it off and have to break out a drill and tap. Hopefully not the latter. Hopefully the former. Let's get to work. We got our shank of metal, shanks. Now, I strongly recommend you not do this at home. This is a bad idea. Simply because welding near these machine surfaces, hell, just grinding near them could fuck your motor up. So, in order to try and minimize any damage I'm going to cause to mine, I'm going to try to be clever if I can. This. Theory, that works. Alright. Contact. Contact. Now set. Contact. Contact. Dude. Oh, it's holding. I gotta rewind the exits. Try this again. Oh shit. I think she's on there pretty good, Jim. Let's hit the backside just to make sure. And now we let cool. So I apologize if the mic's a tad quiet. Decided to preview the footage this time. Connect that up. Let's see if our weld. Hey! It's going! Finally! If you can't beat them, heat them. Fuck this bolt and everything it stands for. If you can't beat them, eat them, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's still mighty hot. So, let's go put the new bolt in and call it a day. Wrong spool, mouse. You're still recording, right? Pretty sure I am. Yeah, I am. Idiot. It is most certainly not a blind hole. I was right in my assumption. Now some of you might be asking, why the hell am I doing this? Well, it's simple. That way I don't lose the bolts. Whereas these guys are all blind holes that lead to nowhere, and the hole just ends in a rough round edge like that. This guy here goes all the way through the casting and probably into the water jacket. That's probably why the motherfucker wouldn't come out, and that's probably why the other head's just the same. Let's set up the next head, shall we? Alright. Next head is ready. Let's remove that son of a bitch. Right through the... Ah, there it is. Ground on. Now, under normal circumstances, I highly recommend against doing this while welding. Yeah, you'll have OSHA come down in your ass so fast you won't know what hit you upside the head till it's already too late. Alright, so... But if you're going to be belligerent about it, it does not kill you, at least on this unit. warming that head up quite something fierce. Oh shit. I'm gonna have to clean that tip soon. Where was it? Let's flip this motherfucker up so we get a better grab on the bottom. Again, I recommend against this because you might damage the head. Give it a couple taps. Oh shit. Anyone see where that 1/2-inch socket went? Fuck me. Well, I got a wrench with me anyways, but let's give her a wee grab, shall we, boys? And voila! Apply lubriciously large amounts of torque, and anything can be achieved. In a great Greek scholar's famous words, give me a lever long enough and I shall lift the world. Ha ha! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you beat the infernal, stupidly hard to get rid of blind bolt. These motherfuckers are evil with a capital E. I'm running out of oil. Apply lubricant generously, or it will always be there when you need it. And occasionally when you don't, but might want. Anyways, see what I'm saying about blind hole? Goes all the way down versus these blind ones over here, these three, which don't. Pretty sure these are grade A bolts. I was trying to remove this the old-fashioned way by torquing down the nuts, which were grade A nuts, by the way. Those grade 8 nuts were just still not cutting it. It refused to budge. You know, now that I realize that I'm looking at the top end, I wonder if this is a common problem with V8s too, with this end bolt over here, because this is the passenger head, because of the cable is at the back, and it's a small block base, so if I remember correctly, 8, 6, 4, and 2 would be up here. I wonder if the number 1 bolt on cylinder 2, same with the number 8 bolt on cylinder 8, is plagued by this problem I'm having. Well, that's enough of this video. See you in the next clip, kids. So, I figured I'd try this again, seeing as my camera didn't record the first time. This is a unported head, quote unquote. You can see down in the runner, I still don't know what that hole is for. The one right there, that little black spot above the top there. No idea why it's there. But if you look down this exhaust runner, very dull. My light doesn't reflect off of it. I mean, you see no shine whatsoever, both on the floor and on the ceiling. Very dull, very boring, versus a ported head. It's a lot flatter, it's a lot smoother in here. You can also see shine in there. That's not paint, that's bare metal. This is also why I stress, try not to fuck up, because getting those little specks in there, in this, could really fuck up that valve. In fact, I'm going to quickly be checking over that and make sure there's no damage to the seat or the guide. But yeah, all that shine is polishing work. I mean, that's just, technically that's at best 120, which isn't great, but it's better than what it was, and it's a lot smoother too. What I'm going to be doing is probably going to be coming in and reshaping the port exit a little bit for better flow, because I know the reason they did that was so that they wouldn't have to worry about cracking. But I figure, if nothing else, I could smooth it out some more and get it nice and pretty. But yeah, and now I'm going to show you what that looks like, if I can find a good spot to position my camera. Because I need you. Yeah, that works. So, let's begin. Incidentally, this is gonna get loud. And that only took 10 minutes. Yeah, you can be here a while. You can most definitely be here a while. In fact, for reference, that was a clean bit when I started. Focus, you fuck. And now it's absolutely black and filthy. I'll see you in the next clip. So here we go, just to show you what I've been doing all this time. Whoops. Yeah, lots of that. And this just goes to show you, this kind of work is not for the faint of heart. It is not for them neat freaks who like to keep everything surgically clean. That is unless you have $2 or $3 grand to drop on a set of CNC ported heads. I mean, look how black my fingers are. Oh, I guess they don't call us black fingers for nothing. Here. Natural skin color. Work skin color. Yeah. Greasy. You're probably wondering, what the hell is all this grime? Well, mine was a junkyard pool, originally, that went into someone's truck and sat before it could even get running again. So you're probably wondering, what in the hell happened? Well, my guess is the truck that motor came out of originally, and by extension the heads, was pretty long traveled truck. Maybe not hard and abused, maybe hardly abused even, but just long road trip kind of deal. And when you do road trips or any kind of driving, you pick up dirt and grime. And on every valve train ever, doesn't matter if it's overhead cam, unless it's flathead, in which case it's got a breather tube coming straight out of the fucking oil pan, or lifter valley, depending on the make, you'll always have a breather, usually on the valve covers, on modern engines. Those breathers are pressure relief valves, because otherwise you build up too much crankcase pressure and you can't turn your engine. It just stops. So you need a relief valve. But at the same time, you also need a way to ensure that no matter what, you keep your oil clean. So enter the filter breather. That breather lets off excess oil in the process of trying to keep the dirt and grime out. Unfortunately, it comes out as a mist and starts caking the motor. Even this van has a breather valve on one of its valve covers, and it's a pushrod V6. But I promise you, if I were to try and give my hand a swipe across the side of the motor, it's ice cold right now, I'd probably come up with a whole bunch of caked on crap, because that oil then sticks to the motor because it's the first thing it hits. Dirt hits the wet oil, and the two of them get hot, real hot, especially because cast iron block and cast iron heads. So much so that it cakes on and builds up the nasty grease, the hard caked on stuff that you need to get in there with a wire brush. See the previous clips. Nasty, nasty stuff, let me tell you what. Ay, ay, ay. And holding that drill, man, has got my hands sore, and I'm still not done. Well, here, let me better explain by getting back over here. So, this is the head I'm judging on. What I'm doing is I'm taking my thumb and rubbing right there. This singular port here is the one I like the most. This is not much of a ridge. This one's still got kind of a ridge, but it's smoothed out. Same with this one. These heads still have a pretty significant ridge right there at the top, right about there, where my fingernail was touching. This one is probably, out of these three exhaust ports, the best of this set, comparable to the worst of that set. So right now I'm spending time in my precious few remaining sanding drums, praying I don't have to go out and buy more, use those damn things. Hope not. But I'm trying to get the things to feel right, because you want to have a matched port, because this is the driver's side. I don't want this breathing less than that, because that would push its bank of pistons harder. Vice versa, this thing would not be taking up the slack and therefore causing issues on the crank. So I gotta make sure that I get this right. Unfortunately, I think I'm out of 80 grits. And that's the kind of grit I need right now. And that's the part that's pissing me off to no end. Fuck me, right? So, I'm not gonna call this the smoothest polish in the world. I'm gonna call that opened up a lot. It's a huge lip that was right about here that's now gone. There's still a little bit of a lip there, but not so massively that it matters so much. You can see all the port work that's been done. This is the culmination of 2 days so far. And there's a little bit of work done in the chamber just to try and clean it up. It's a little bit right over there where you can see it. Right up there in the corner. Wherever this lip was, right at the intake. It's a little bit of a lip, so I figured I'd smooth the top of that out a little bit. Technically increases the combustion chamber volume, but it smooths out the flow a little bit. Now, if I was real anal about this, I would have taken this all the way down to a mere finish in the combustion chamber, and that would definitely boost power by a lot. But as it is, I've already boosted the power maybe 5 horsepower per head. I might see more. Hard to tell though. Intake runners are looking pretty clean. I'm going to hose this off real quick once again before I get back to work. And this is why you don't see me recording while I'm working.
So now that we're at the end of the video, I figured I'd just throw this in to let you know that this video really does not do justice to how long it took. I spent the better part of a week and a half doing both heads with this $50 kit between Harbor Freight parts and the like. And this $50 kit composes of a pack of sanding drums, some buff wheels, tiny little Dremel buff wheels, and 2 tubes of polishing goop. And all that comes out to about $50 if you have the tools already. Now, this kit will work wonders, and I really mean wonders, for aluminum heads. For a cheap do-it-yourself on aluminum heads, oh my god, will you get really good results. But on a cast iron head, I would recommend getting a second, maybe even a third set of those sanding drums, because I really wasn't able to remove that much material. If anything, I was just smoothing out what was there, which I guess is a good thing. I guess you would want to start on iron, because aluminum being such a softer metal as far as a sanding medium is concerned, you really have less margin of error, and you really could fuck it up even worse than what you could do with iron. But I put in a week and a half worth of work. I figure between 40 to 60 hours on these heads, which is a lot of time, and a lot of that got sucked up just sitting there, grinding and getting the first couple of wheels through each particular runner, because they were so caked with crap. Like, I'm not even joking. This thing had ran probably a couple times more than it should have with old oil, and it just caked every orifice possible. I mean, I had to throw out a couple of sanding drums just because the first couple of passes I made, they were covered in soot and gunk. But I'm sorry I haven't been uploading on a regular basis. I've been dealing with the death of a very close pet of mine. Been sick and taking care of my mom lately, so it's been hard to get videos uploaded lately. I hope to, hopefully at some point this week, get more videos done and out there, and maybe you can understand where I'm coming from on that. But yeah, I can't really undercut. You are getting in an hour's length what took me 40 to 60 times that just to do all this. And there are a bunch of little clips where I'm just rambling off and rambling on. But yeah, I mean, for a simple do-it-yourself kit, if you're just polishing like I am, $50 will still get you pretty far. Hell, you could probably even go less and just double up on the sanding drums and get farther than I did. Because realistically, I probably shouldn't have wasted my money, because on the polishing stuff, like the goop and the polish wheels, because I couldn't really see too much of a difference. I mean, it did something, but I really couldn't see what it was doing because it really didn't seem to make a difference. At least that's what I thought. On aluminum, it would probably cut a lot faster because the black goop, which is the really coarse stuff, all-purpose cutter, would work better on a softer material like aluminum compared to iron, which these heads are. But yeah, all that said, I have been Rock the Vox. You've been wonderful. I will see you in the next video. Peace.